Multiple rural clinics are closing this week, and a new clinic in New Ulm is aiming to fill that need left in the region.
Aaron Stuvey has more.
In September, the Mayo Clinic announced that it was closing a number of locations in places like Belle Plaine, Caledonia, Montgomery, St. Peter, and Wells. Also on that list is North Mankato's Northridge facility. All of those clinics will officially close on Wednesday. The future of those facilities have yet to be determined. As in a statement to KUIC, Mayo said there are plans in the works for places like Northridge, but they have yet to announce anything. But while those clinics close, new options are opening up. Medelia Health is just a week into serving patients at a new clinic in New Ulm. The clinic offers on-site lab work and is an all-around care option for all ages. Those options are what the clinic says is crucial. As with the closures of clinics around the state, it's more important than ever to have a variety of options in smaller rural communities.
It is very important to have these smaller clinics provide meaningful care, really get to know our patients, and make a direct impact on their health care.
The project began just last August, and in less than 4 months, the facility was renovated and has begun taking patients, with an open house properly introducing the clinic to the community on Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Aaron Stuvey, KUIC News Now.